Hi Lisa again. I know you are a writer. I am a musician. How did your creativity shift after awakening? Well, part of my process of waking up was when I was 26 and 27, I went to India to meet Ramesh, and then I went and lived with my ex-boyfriend Roger, and he was also my teacher. And before that, I was a playwright, and I was doing quite well, even for myself, even though at the time I thought I should be doing better. But now when I look back, I was doing quite well. I lived in London, and it was exhausting me trying to be a playwright. It was beautiful, but it was also exhausting because I had so much identification around it. Like my life only had purpose if I was being creative. I'm sure a lot of people that are creative can experience that and know that. And I didn't know who I'd be without that. I'd always done and been creative. And so when I went to India and when I met Roger, I gave up writing, and I gave it all up. And basically, I just did physical manual labor. So I did masseuse at the neighbors. I was a masseuse at the neighbors retreat center, and then I just did gardening and manual labor. And for 3 years. And then after that, I started talking about non-duality. And then I didn't start writing again at all. I didn't even write my book. If you've read my book, it's actually transcriptions, until 2015. So I gave up 2006, 2007, and then 2015. So that was like 8 years of totally dropping that identity. And I never thought I would write again. And then a friend of mine was writing a script, and they were going to get it produced. They were self-producing it, and I thought the script was bad, and I felt compassion for them. And this was something that I knew how to do. Like I'd been doing it for years prior to stopping. Might sound quite arrogant, but I offered to help them because I just felt they were totally lost and overwhelmed by the writing process. And then so 2015, that got me back into writing. So it's only been 4 years that I've been writing again. And I love it. And I would love to get my work published or performed or sell it. But I just love it for itself now. Like it doesn't really matter if that happens or not, even though I feel like it will. I just feel that deep in my bones. I never felt that before when I was writing. I was always insecure. I just feel like it will be sold or performed. And and it's like, it's beauty. It's a different way of writing that's come out, and it's more innocent, and just feels like beauty. I really love it, and like playing. But I have no pressure on myself. When I was 25 or 23, 24, 25, 26, living in London, like I had a little bit of success, and then I had so much pressure on myself and so much identity wrapped around it. Whereas now I get up and I just enjoy doing it. And even though there's a feeling that it will be sold or produced, there's no pressure there to do it. It's just for the love of doing it. So it's just purely being creative when I'm doing it. And I can have bad days. I can have days where I'm like, oh, it's so painful, and then you have to throw lots away, like bad days of writing. That happens to everybody. But it's different from when I was younger. It used to make me feel meaningless often, ironically, because I looked to it for meaning. When it wasn't going well, I felt meaningless and hopeless. It feels more innocent, the writing. So you said, how did your creativity shift? And it feels more innocent, the writing that comes out, more childlike. And it feels more like a craft now after so many years, because in those actual 8 or 9 years, even though I didn't write at all, I was still reading and watching. Like, I love storytelling, so I was still taking in that information and digesting it. Even though I had no intention of using it, I was still like unconsciously analyzing everything that I was reading and watching. I once had 6,000 questions. In the silence, they suddenly disappeared. The silence, this is from Roland, the silence opened so much of its own on its own accord. Let go of the questions. Answers will appear eventually or not, but I'm free of the torment. Oh, that's beautiful, Roland.